You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Grey's Anatomy After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Grey's Anatomy After Show.
Jason, you're not freaking out about the music.
Nobody knows where you lie. And this is my ringtone for like 5 years. It's great. And my ringback tone when those are cool.
Welcome. Bing is for doing, and we are doing another episode of the greatest show on television, at least tonight, Grey's Anatomy. We are on to season 9, episode 5, entitled Second Opinion. I'm Julie Partin.
Hi guys, Jason J. Carter in the hot seat.
And I'm Kellie. And we are back this week, and we're feeling a little bit good about ourselves because some of our fans, and we appreciate the feedback, said that last week was our best podcast ever.
Yay, good stuff.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and so we're hoping to continue on. It might have also been because last week was the best episode of Grey this season,
for sure.
so they made it really, really easy for us.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. Well, but tonight, more magic unfolded. Forget Disneyland being the happiest place on earth. Thursday nights in front of my TV is the happiest place on earth because tonight's episode was another smash hit, Stone Cold Wonder.
Especially when there are no deaths in the episode.
Oh.
Nobody died tonight.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes.
The drama was very very low key tonight. And I think that when there's a lot of drama in Grey's, it's sometimes kind of hard to watch because it's so emotional. But tonight, the drama was more about better acting, I guess, or more about a better story. I mean, there's something magical that happened tonight, I thought.
Yeah, we got to know some characters better. There was definitely some depth to the patients.
Sure.
And so there wasn't anything catastrophic that happened. And I feel like we really got to enmesh ourselves in the episode.
Right.
So much was happening, we didn't even talk very much through it because if you spoke, you missed something.
I
Right.
know.
Yeah.
It was chock full of epicness.
So without further ado, they begin the episode with Cristina not only back in Seattle, but in Meredith's bed.
Yes, of course she is.
Yeah.
Where else would she be?
And so Meredith was talking to Derrick on the phone. Why wasn't he there? What was going on?
Remember, he was out of town last episode. So
Right.
I think he probably still was.
So they just didn't follow up with necessarily where he was?
No.
Okay, well, they were saying she's back, she's having a hard time. And so, first of all, she gets to the hospital and has this business meeting with Owen.
Yeah, well, he's a little, hurt over her being MIA and leaving him to go to Minnesota. And of course he's going to act like that. I mean, she's back and he still has feelings for her. I mean, they're technically still married.
Yeah, but there was a weird moment when he's like being really formal with her and he's like, I'm not your proxy anymore.
Well, how else can he be? Because, I mean, really, she didn't come back for him. That's her husband. I mean, that's got to be, you're married. Like, it's got to be horrible. What if, something happened and you want to be that number one person in your significant other's life?
That's
you
true.
wanna
Like,
be the
she didn't
reason.
return to Seattle. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, she didn't come back just to be with him. She didn't even want to talk to him. She was barely talking to him when she was gone. She was using the plane crash as a reason to talk to him, but not really. They haven't been a couple for a really long time.
Since he cheated on her.
Yeah, so now that she's back, it's got to be awkward. And, sometimes guys can be a little bit more emotional than, girls can
for
sometimes.
sure.
Such babies. And they like to be, they have to be mean about it, though. Because it's easier to be angry than it is to be hurt. And I kind of think that's what it was.
I feel bad for Owen, though.
I do too.
I mean, poor guy. He cheated on his wife, but she aborted his baby. I know she
You always laugh at the worst
It sounds
parts.
so bad. I'm sorry, viewers, but and it's like this tit for tat. You did me dirty, so I'm gonna do you dirty, and she laughed. I mean, I can understand if she stayed in Seattle, Grace Mercy West, and they didn't talk to her, but she moved away to a whole other state and left him alone.
Does he know about her affair with the chief over at Mayo?
Probably not.
But I'm sure he guesses. I mean, I'm sure he guesses they weren't together. She barely was communicating with him. I mean, I don't think he's dumb. But they've had a very tumultuous relationship the entire time with his PTSD
For sure.
and all of that, and then the trauma that she's gone through, and then with the whole pregnancies, and then with the Teddy stuff. I mean, it's just been
Drama.
drama for these two forever. And to be honest, I never really liked them as a couple in the beginning. I just didn't feel like it fit the way that it fit when she was with Burke. Like, it didn't feel like it was kind of a natural thing. I thought it was like hot and steamy when they first hooked up, but then after that, I didn't
fizzled.
think they meshed well. I mean, a lot of people love them together.
Really?
Maybe
It
they'll
doesn't
work
seem
it
like I
out.
know anybody that loves that relationship.
I mean, I was reading, where a lot of fans really like it. They feel like that they're meant to be together. I never really necessarily have felt that way. I don't know.
I got the magic of Crowan when they were when he exposed her to the steam room, and
Okay, the steam room was really, really steamy, but they've never had this peaceful togetherness that you get out of being a married
It's
couple.
always been dramatic.
Yeah, they have like these off and on hot, I love you moments, but it's never something that you think is secure and stable.
Well, there's very few tender moments we've seen with Cristina and Owen on Grey's Anatomy thus far. I mean, there's one part where she's cooking for him, where she's trying to be ambidextrous with the hot sauce, and because Teddy says that all great surgeons can operate with either hand. But that's the only time I've ever seen them really be lovey-dovey. Other than that, right, Kelly, you hit the nail on the head. It's always either he's choking her, she's crying, he's telling her, see you later, take care now,
Or she's saying, I don't want to be married, I can't do this, I don't want a family, I have to think about me. Like,
have
it's
an
one or the other.
abortion.
Because even in her most dramatic moments, he hasn't really, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen one of those powerful episodes where it's been him rescuing her. When the shooting happened, she was on a boat with Derrick when she finally broke down. And, she was stone-faced for, days and days, weeks and weeks, and wouldn't talk to Owen. But she goes out fishing with Derrick, and he doesn't even say anything. But she has these kind of come out of it moments with other people.
I feel like he wants to be there for her.
I think so too.
I
But
think the thing
they're
that's
both-
standing in the way of them being together is her.
I agree, 100%. And, especially with Teddy last season being, the cardio god, and she choosing her over him. And it's just there's always these variables that come into play with Cristina. And she's very complicated, very complex, sometimes for no reason. I think that she wants... where she tells Meredith that Owen's her person, okay, well, if Owen's your person, then why are you doing this to him then? Like, what, either crap or get off the pot.
Yeah.
But I also think they're a lot alike in a way because they're both very, very tough personalities. And maybe that's why it's not easy for them to have those sentimental moments. Because, I think he caves a lot more than she does, but she doesn't really want to be that vulnerable person to him. I think that there's something, I don't know, weird there where she won't let her guard down for him specifically. Even though I think that somewhere inside there she loves him, she kind of wants it to, but she stops herself. And maybe it's her whole intimacy issues or, whatever, I don't know. But there's something there that keeps her from going there into that emotional place that she should go, especially to her husband.
At this point in time, and I'm always on the side of the marriage, but at this point in time, for the sake of the show, I'd like to see their relationship more as exes that have to work together, or like exes where he's the boss. That would be more interesting to me than this that I feel like has been going on way too many seasons.
Well, this is what he kind of, said tonight was, this is, welcome. Here's your welcome package.
Right, but like I don't want to jump to the end and get off track, but like at the end they revealed he's the one that actually brought her there.
Right, of course.
Well, but she's a talented doctor, so...
You think that would be enough for him to bring him? I mean, you think he brought her back to Seattle as his wife or as the chief?
He's still sprung on her. I mean, come on now. He's still whooped on Cristina Yang. I mean, there's love there. Okay, again, I'll say this. When you're with someone that you know your ex and you act all like, there's songs about it, that you act like it doesn't matter, but then when you turn on the lights, you're crying and you stalk their Facebook page and you're like all on their Twitter feeds and stuff. He still has it for her, and so of course he's hurt. He's going through it, and he's, like you said, Kelly, he's being a man. He's not showing emotion. He doesn't want to let his guard down. But there's massive amounts of love there, and she still loves him too. You can't tell because she gives the same facial expression for everything, but. There's still some chemistry there, and I think later on the season, hopefully, it'll be well worth the wait. Because I agree with you, Julie. It's been going on for way too long. This Crowan drama, it needs to stop. Either they need to. Even their marriage was awkward. They got married at Meredith's house, and it was just what? It wasn't even like a wedding. It was just like, here we are. Have some hors d'oeuvres. You're married. Boom. There you go.
I don't. Was that the same party where Avery punched out Karev?
No.
Okay, that was a different party. That's how much I don't remember their marriage happening.
She's been married twice. Remember when Burke?
No, but that one I remember very well, with the whole necklace and the Asian mom.
And the missing eyebrows.
That was wonderful. Her marriage, Owen, I hardly remember.
I vaguely remember
it was like a blip on that episode.
Yeah. Something dramatic did happen at the reception.
Are
or
we
the little
sure that
party
wasn't
or
what it
something.
was?
No, the party, what happened was they got into an argument, and he basically told the world that she aborted his baby.
No, but but we're talking about their marriage. I thought we didn't actually see their marriage on camera.
We did. But we did see them. We did. It was at Meredith's house.
Right.
And she was wearing brown, and she asked, "How's Owen?" And she's like, "He's perfect." Because remember when Meredith was asking for approval. They were arguing about she didn't think that she should marry Owen, and they were going back and forth. There was a rift.
Yes.
Yeah. And she gets the brown dress, and she's
Oh my gosh, do we hate this couple so much we can't even remember?
I'm almost positive it's because what party would it have been where Avery punched out Karev?
I
thought it was that one.
You know what, guys? iTunes, please.
Please, yes. Tell us. What party was that?
We need resources here. We need your knowledge on this one.
Subscribe for free. Comment, download, let us know.
Yeah, we're stumped.
We are super fans, but for some reason, that
Not even
relationship
super
won't
fans
even
are
stick.
into this. But I'll tell you something that we really, really are into, or at least me, the new heart surgeon. Loved this character.
I did too.
Dr. Jeff Russell. And of course, Christina, nobody named Jeff. Yeah, nobody named Jeff has ever accomplished anything significant. Best line. No offense to you guys, Jeffs. I'm sure that's not true. But we loved him.
What about him did you love? I thought he was... The only thing I liked about him was his look, just go handle business, call me, bring me a cup of coffee when you're done. You know what I mean?
Don't kill anybody.
Don't kill anybody.
I thought he was hysterical.
I thought it was perfect for her because of her arrogance.
Yeah.
Because she thinks she knows everything anyway. So here, this is what you think. Everybody seems to agree with that notion that you are amazing beyond your station or your status right now. So go do it. Don't kill anybody. Let's see what happens.
I liked him because he was old but not too old. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to get another guy in the mix that's going to be sleeping with everybody. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get any clue about anything involving his personal life except he's into his job. He trusts Cristina. That is what she wants.
And he's writing from medical journals.
Yeah.
They're
breathing
He's
down his
so
neck.
busy. He's so brilliant. He doesn't even have time to talk to his new protege.
And she was blown away too. She was like, okay. All right.
I like how he said, I'm in the weeds.
I know. How did you not like him? You didn't feel the same way, or you just think it was big?
Again, all the cardiothoracic surgeons that Cristina has been linked to over the past have been these strong, intense, deep, brooding personalities. Teddy, Burke, so there's this guy. I guess he's got to grow on me. I don't really too much care about those characters on the show.
Okay.
Because they're just filler. They're not emotional. He's there. Great. I was more excited that Cristina was back and that she finally, and hold on. And also, guys, her returning to Seattle Grace there was not that much fanfare about it. There wasn't people, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's back, the witch is back. Because the promo was like, the bitch is back. There was none of that.
Well, we actually have a caller. Maybe we can get their opinion on it. Do you want to put him through?
He's through. Caller, go ahead.
If this caller is for scandal, please hang up now.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this caller is not for scandal.
Yay!
What were you guys talking about?
Right now, we were just talking about Dr. Jeff Russell, the new cardiothoracic surgeon.
What did you think about him? Julie and I, we liked him. We liked his character, his energy.
Jason didn't care. What did you think?
I think that I think he's actually good for what Cristina needs right now and what her skills have sort of advanced to at this point. I think he said basically, gave her cardio carte blanche, like, if anything goes wrong, like, come get me. But he didn't.
That's the best way to put it. Cardio carte blanche. Whatever your name is, maybe we want you on our show.
But yeah, that's what I thought about him. I thought he was kind of just what she needed in terms of her journey, sort of the three teachers that she had, getting her from where she started to where she is now. I think that's the perfect sort of last person to be kind of her gateway before she's like a full attending or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about her and Owen's relationship? Over the last 3 seasons, we've seen them evolve, and not an evolution that's been, bringing them to a more substantial relationship, but just seems like they're fledgling, like they're just there. Like their relationship is always never really solidified. How do you feel about them this season?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I am of mixed opinion. I think I'm not a diehard Crowan sort of person.
There you go.
Who is?
So I guess I'm one of those people I'm not certain that they're made for each other or whatever. I'm not even certain, I guess, that Cristina is the kind of person who needs to have someone else.
It's a good way to put it.
I don't. Yeah, like I think she's one of those people. She could probably be fine in life, not being married to someone, not having to deal with that. At the same time, though, I also think that if she does care about him, if he does care about her, I really don't know how they can write their way out of it without one of them having to compromise, I think, a little bit too much of themselves.
Yeah.
To be together.
I really don't know. I did think it was interesting the way Owen, he was the one who flipped out over like whatever procedure she did in this episode.
Yeah, he's like, she's gonna
Russell
fire
didn't
you.
Care. Cristina didn't care. Like it was all cool between them, and he was like
losing it. See, over emotional dude. I mean, he needed to have a seat, to have a whole stadium of seats. Because I was like, why? Again, that's one of the issues I have with the men on this show. And I was talking to the girls about this earlier, like with Derrick, how they go from one extreme to the other. There's so many bipolar moments on Grey's with the men.
Except for Alex. Consistent
douchebag. There you go. Consistent douchebag.
He never disappoints in that area. No, but it made sense to me at the end when we find out that Owen's the one that pushed Cristina to be there. I think that's why he flipped out, because here she is going rogue already on her first day, and he doesn't know what Dr. Russell and her talked about in the beginning. He doesn't know the free reign.
That's true, but I mean that just goes to show he assumes she's going to go rogue.
Exactly. Well, because she usually does.
I think that the growth that she experienced working with, I don't know his name. Or
Dr. Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Feeney.
Feeney, there you go. Yeah.
But so like the growth that she had at Mayo, which I think she needed, because honestly, even also in this episode, her ability to teach. She may not be willing to learn the interns' names with the other, but she's actually a better teacher than I think people give her or would have given her credit for. But Owen doesn't know that she's had that growth, so he's still kind of like.
Well, as we saw with her and Teddy last season about, her being a better teacher, and Teddy really put her through her paces as well, too. And Teddy stated to her, she would ask her the simplest questions, but she said that, I'm asking these questions because we know you're brilliant, but you're not growing because you're arrogant. So I think that's why Cristina now is a better teacher, because she's had all these teachers prior to Dr. Thomas to really put her through her paces and make sure that she is a well-rounded surgeon.
But I think Dr. Thomas.
For sure. I just thought Dr. Thomas he wasn't wrapped up in, like, there was Burke. Her teacher was Burke, Teddy, Thomas, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, Burke and Teddy are both wrapped up in sort of this. There's a lot of drama wrapped up with them, whereas I think Feeney or Thomas or whoever he was, it was very much just about the cardio, just about the professional stuff, which is why I think it worked so quickly. I mean, I don't know.
Was quick.
I agree with you. I think that it was more impactful coming from him, because not only was he educating her on something different, but he made her stop and slow down and actually look at something different and showed her an outcome. And I think she's a very visual person, and it's a lot easier than like Teddy just asking her, these simple little questions to frustrate her. This is a little bit different, where he slowed her down, to the point where he even like changed her breathing.
Well, he took her out of her element though too. Like we said last week, she's always been at Mercy West Seattle Grace, and she essentially started a new life in Minnesota. So she had no Meredith. She had no indirect distractions. She was on her own. Couple that with the traumatic experience of the plane crashing, it's almost like a bittersweet new beginning for her. So I think that's why she was able to connect with Dr. Thomas a lot better, because she had nobody. Even though that she was screwing the chief, Rex from Desperate Housewives. But, she was out there on her own in the cold. So, I mean...
Well, plus, Dr. Thomas wasn't trying to make a name for himself anymore. He was already kind of pretty much, content with where he was, whereas, Teddy was still a relatively young doctor, still needing to make her mark, and so was Burke. So it was still very competitive between those, and I think this relationship was a lot different.
Yeah. Hey, caller, what is your name?
Danielle.
Danielle, where are you from?
I am actually in Seattle right now.
Oh,
nice.
What's it like?
Is it cold?
It's cold. We had our sort of, there's a certain point in the fall when you have a really nice sunny day, and then the next day it's rainy, and then it'll be like 6 months before the sun comes out.
Oh, you make us feel closer to Seattle Grace Mercy West. Well, hey, did you have any other questions or comments for us?
Go for it. Oh yeah, no, I didn't actually think I'd get through.
Oh,
because I was just wanted to see, because it's always interesting to have people talking about grades and stuff like that. Because I started watching late, so I feel like everybody else is like, oh, I'm so done with that show, and I'm like, I just got into it.
No,
yeah. There are lots of us left, and we are glad to have you on our team.
Yes, thank you so much.
Seriously, our favorite caller ever. Thanks so much, Danielle.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, she was so smart.
Yeah.
I hear Seattle is the most educated city in America, so no surprise.
No surprise.
I bet she had a master's. I wished I'd ask her. She's probably a doctor.
My roommate is from Seattle, and so she's constantly repping the 206.
206.
Well, moving on, we had a nice episode with the interns. These two hated the interns.
I like them now.
I've liked them since the beginning.
Hate is a very strong
word,
I might have
Julie.
used it, but
I may have thunk it, but I didn't say it out loud.
I don't know. It just kind of annoyed me because it didn't seem like they fit anywhere. And actually, today we got a little bit more insight into them, and I feel better about
I
them.
liked all
I don't
four of
hate
them
anymore.
The most powerful story, in my opinion, was, of course, Dr. Joe.
Yes.
With Santa Claus, the man that came in. They had been treating him for years, thinking he was a druggie, and she took it one step further, and she kept giving him tests. And I didn't know how it was going to work out. Is she naive? Is she a do-gooder? But the craziest part was she changed his appearance from a homeless man to just a normal corporate-looking man, and all of a sudden, the chief was finally like, well, Chief Owen, by the way. Well, I guess we'll give him another test. He was quick to change his mind. I think it's because he felt bad that he called him Santa Claus in front of him.
Well, and also she stated though too. She said,
she called him out.
Yeah, she said that homeless people don't get good health care. And so if we clean them, but any Joe that walks in a suit and cologne, we're busting our ass, quote unquote, So and it was really nice to see her it was shadows of Meredith when she was an intern, going against the grain and doing what she thought was right, regardless of if it was going to be approved by the uppers or not. So and plus, and also, and she looked really good doing it. I mean, the hair color, everything was just great. The interns this year are very attractive. I'm really into the girl with the glasses. I have a thing for glasses, I guess, and she's just doing it for. I'm joking, guys.
Well, Dr. Joe is the one that they sort of always paralleled with Meredith's journey. Remember the opening? They had her ride up in the elevator, same thing as Meredith, and she's rising as the lead intern and our favorite, right?
Well, I think it's more so because she has the bigger storyline out of all of them.
Right.
We see more of her. But, even with the throw up all over her, she was still pretty cute in this episode.
And then she went exasperated to Alex, and he saved the day.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and so I thought I sensed chemistry between there, but he's already slept with pretty much every intern but her.
Yeah.
And she's repulsed by him.
Right.
And I think they already had a little exchange about that.
Oh, yeah.
They have a whole little, I'm not going to sleep with you thing?
There was that weird out-of-character moment where she, propositioned him, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't she proposition Callie too?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
I could do the girl thing.
I just want more surgeries whenever I need to.
Right.
Do. No.
But tonight I do agree with you ladies that the interns were not as dumb as we're gonna be portrayed as. And I love the names Cristina gave them. Mousy.
Right.
Mousy and Happy / Dopey.
Except for Leah. Leah, the one that couldn't get over Karev. She was as dumb as we thought they were going to be.
Yes.
And then so Mousy and Happy, I think we should just call them that from now on. I hope the name sticks.
Yeah, well, I mean, our viewers want us to call them by their real names, though, because they get confused.
Oh, well, all right. Dr. Shane and Dr. Heather. I don't know their last names.
There's Leah, Stephanie, Joe, Heather, and Shane.
Okay, yeah. So Shane and Heather got put on Yang's service, and right away she threw him into surgery. And they're like, we love her.
First they hated her, and then they loved her. I like how they said she was worse than Medusa.
Right.
The only other time we've heard Medusa being hated.
I know, right? So basically, what we've learned about interns is you give them surgery, they're fine.
Yeah, then they love you.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a few seasons ago, you don't give them surgery, they will remove each other's appendix.
Yeah, or they will cut LVAD wires, or or stick their hands in cavities of bombs in them, you know?
They do really inappropriate things if you don't keep their hands busy.
And then one other patient that we got to see was a teenager who came in, and then right away he had some very disturbing symptoms like jaundice, and his hair was falling out. And we find out that he'd been abusing steroids for the past 2 years.
Okay, really? I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're abusing steroids, you would have a body to show for the steroids you're abusing.
I know. That was
like,
weird.
Weird. It was like, I would rather him have been like a heroin addict or something with how he looked. I mean, I'm just saying, steroids, random.
Well, and his mom said he was really, really skinny and
he
awkward.
was still really skinny.
Skinny and awkward.
No, I mean, he was skinny, but I mean, he had a little bit more muscle on him, and maybe he was so skinny. I don't know.
Do you wear
I'm trying
contacts?
to push it now.
So I personally know one dude who was abusing steroids, and every time I saw him, it was like,
yeah.
He might have just been taking them and not necessarily working out.
Well, what's the
Maybe
point?
he was just doing that. So that way any little activity he did built the muscle.
He jumped
I don't
rope, he
know.
got
I'm
muscle.
pushing it really far.
It was weird to be abusing steroids and still be that weak. But I mean, whatever, we did find out he had given himself cancer from abusing steroids. The Lance Armstrong thing ran through my mind. Did it you guys too?
No.
Oh, no.
Random Jules, I love it. You're like, Oprah Winfrey.
But see, he wasn't super buff and like all of that either.
I know.
Was, you know?
That's why it was kind of weird when he said he was abusing steroids. I was like, hold it, shut the front door, steroids.
He was doing too much cardio to build all that muscle.
He could have been like abusing Adderall or something. That would have been more believable than abusing steroids.
I thought the same thing.
Either way, this poor kid had, issues, appearance issues, very, all of that we were talking about earlier.
But I'm glad that they didn't harp on, because haven't you noticed in previous seasons of Grey's, the patients sometimes get a lot of the show.
Yes.
And this time it was quick.
I don't mind that. I think it was a good balance this week and last week of patience. It's a part of the trifecta of the show.
No, but usually sometimes they spend too much time on the patients. Just like that whole girl with the note, they reconstructed her face, and that whole thing went on forever. What was her name with Karev? I can't remember now.
Rebecca,
Ava, yeah.
How dare you forget her name?
Sorry.
He even knew both of them, Rebecca, Ava.
She's actually the mom in Breaking Dawn, but whatever.
Which we are seeing later.
Or Jennifer, I'm sorry, I cannot say McDreamy, where Derrick cuts off half her brain and malpractice suit. He goes into the woods.
That whole thing. Sometimes
that's true. We're not getting.
Too long.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not getting any multi-arc patients this season.
No.
They're like
so far,
in out.
No. Yeah, so far no. But there were some serious issues in this episode. But I like that it was fast and all
and Meredith and Karev were working on this patient together, and apparently he is buying her house, but wanted her to do all these home renovations. So they discussed it the whole episode,
fighting over it.
Yeah,
more likely. She doesn't want to change anything, and she's asking him, why all of a sudden do you want to? Do you need more room to bang your interns? Why do you want?
Right. Yeah. That's too many rooms, Alex.
but with that storyline though, it was really nice to see at the end when they came to a conclusion and came to an agreement of why the renovations wouldn't happen, how they connected and how they genuinely care about each other.
That was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was awesome.
When she said that, I wanted to become a homeowner. Just like all the ways that she was attached to that place and all the memories that came from it. I thought it was really sweet.
But also, Julie, about what she said about Karev, that you're not that guy. You're a pretty good guy. You should, and you're my friend. And basically, like, I love you. Like, of course,
the way you are.
just the way you are.
He was really seeking growth in his life, and she's basically saying to him, "You have grown." Yeah, that was
and
sweet.
they hugged. When have you ever seen Karev hug anybody besides Izzy and Crazy Ava?
I know. Well, it was
Rebecca
more or
Ava.
less, she was basically like, you don't want to be this guy, don't be it. You don't have to change my house and do all these things to, be this person you don't want to be. Just don't be that person.
Ladies, you guys agree that there's such that things have come to fruition with the characters. They're just so much more mature. They're not dark and twisty anymore, even though they have their issues and because of the plane crash. But all that aside, it's nice to see them attending. It's nice to see them finally
Growing up.
Yeah, those original interns, well, I guess there's only 3 of them left, really have come into their own.
Yeah. I mean, it was really nice. That was another special moment for me this season on Grey's was just that 2 minutes where they hugged and they talked and they connected as friends versus always being, because Karev's always that guy that he's like, oh, I hate you, but you can kick it.
Yeah.
That friend that's like, oh, I can't stand him, but whatever, just invite him. And tonight it was like, Karev, no, you're family. You're family.
Yeah.
And
even when she was describing some of the things about the house, there were marks on the ceiling, and she said, it was from the first Christmas tree we ever had in this house, as interns, but you wouldn't know that because we didn't like you then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then it ended with a really nice moment when Cristina was in the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so after a little bit of bickering, I guess they're going to be roomies again. Did you guys like that
Loved
development?
it. I thought it was great.
did.
I thought you, Jason, were going to say, this has happened on Grey's
Well,
before.
it has. Karev did that to Meredith. Karev did that to them, and then it's happened before. But the pairing was good because they're both douchey, So it's like Cristina.
Yeah, they never have moments of kinship together.
No.
Well, and Christina's always been kind of an honorary roommate. Every time something bad happened at her place, she was, staying
shows
over
up.
there at that house.
And I like it because it's one step further away from Owen,
From Crowan.
which is what I really,
From the
really want.
nest.
And then a couple more Avery love updates happening. So wait, why do you?
Annoyed
'Cause
by that.
Kepner-
I'm
Which one
so
were you
over it.
annoyed by? Avery April or Avery Chief?
Avery April.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm over the Jesus is disappointed in me. That's enough.
Word.
That is enough.
Preach, Kelly.
Stop getting naked then.
Amen.
Stop it.
Say
Yeah,
it.
I mean, if your
Boom.
guilt is authentic enough, you would change.
And then,
Yes.
and then she, just her whole, that storyline is just, again, filler. It's like, okay, it's taken away from the good stuff. They don't have good chemistry. They're not even hot together. She's not, Sarah Drew, I love you as an actress. You're a great actress. Your character, we're talking about your character. She is just not attractive in any way, shape, or form. She's just too green.
It's too whiny.
I can't
that's
sexualize
why.
her.
How can that be attractive when she's whining all
the time about, Jesus hates me for having sex and no. Girl, how do you think you got here?
Well, I think maybe you guys hate this way more than me because I know a lot of people that have gone through this journey.
Wait, of re-virginization?
Of wanting to stay a virgin until they got married and not.
Yeah, but it's done. Like, it's already done. You can't erase it.
But no, they really do go through the struggle. And then they'll think, no, I'm waiting, and then they'll meet someone new. And it's just like all this guilt wrapped up, and they're trying to honor their religion and honor their God by waiting until they stay married. And it's like a really big inner conflict, especially if you don't get married young.
Well, but the way, okay, I definitely agree with that. And I think, but the way that it's being portrayed, at least in my opinion, because she's only complaining about it in front of him when they're done. So to me,
when they're done.
So to me, it seems very whiny and kind of a manipulative way to make him confess feelings that he has for her that's not just sex. Basically like he did, and I think that subconsciously that's her way of doing it. Let me say I hate it, so you can tell me why I shouldn't.
I just feel like Avery and Kevin are always the character on Grey's that are just like, well, let's see where we can fit them in. Let's see how we can write write them in, because there's nothing ever dramatic happens with those two, you know. And it just, I don't know, the story, it just doesn't work. It's not working. It's like when Callie was dating Erica Hahn and they cut that one real. They're like, she's gotta go.
Oh yeah, that was quick.
But I totally disagree. I actually like the storyline. I think it's sweet. I do think the Jesus thing came out of nowhere, and that's a journey I take seriously. I went on it myself, you know, waiting till marriage. And so for it to come out of nowhere like that is just not authentic, but I do like them together. And I feel like the fight I was talking about earlier, how he like defended her honor when she almost slept with Karev. Like I've seen this coming for a long time. I saw it building. I liked them together more than I liked him with little
whiny
Gray.
about it. And just,
yeah, no, you're right.
I think it's just the way, because I get it. If you're on this journey and you honestly feel guilty about it, and sometimes when you're overly attracted to someone, it's hard to abstain and all of that, especially when you have stronger feelings than you want to admit. I get all of that. But she's not talking to anybody else about it. That we're seeing. She's not really having this struggle that we get to see, other than as soon as they're dressed, she's complaining about how he's basically like a big car wreck to her. And how, you know, she's acting like he doesn't have feelings, but yet she wants to be treated, you know, a certain way.
I can see what you're saying about her saying those things to make him confess his love or take it more seriously.
I think that's kind of what it is, and then playing the whole innocent, oh, I had no idea. That's what you wanted. Shut up. That was what you wanted the whole time.
She's conniving.
Whenever he did finally confess that he has feelings,
she's like, what?
Exactly.
No,
For
I can
me?
see
You know, I'm so sorry that I hurt them. Oh, give me a break. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I can see how you guys would be over that specific
it's not that I
situation, but I
don't like
definitely
them
did. I
together.
don't dislike those characters, and I don't dislike them as a couple.
Well, it's just.
It's like, be a couple already. That's
Right.
kind of where I'm at. Be
Okay.
a couple already.
And it would be more. The storyline would be more intense if she had been abused or raped or something that was that dramatic.
You always say that.
And then, well, no, it's the truth though.
I know.
I just
He
want to
wants
stop
that.
whining. That's all I want.
No, I don't, but I'm just saying.
I don't need to have mental issues. I just want to stop.
I think about the aesthetic of the show, and I'm such a perfectionist. I honestly, viewers, I rewrite every episode in my head while we're watching. I was like, no, that's not supposed to happen. But I mean, it's just, again, whiny. The Jesus thing is just very. No disrespect to your journey, Miss Julie.
No, I agree. Like, the way that she has approached and that the show has approached this Jesus religious thing is just not the level of seriousness that people take it if that's a part of who they are, you know?
Well, even
like, you don't
Avery-
only talk about it when you feel bad and you make a mistake.
Exactly.
You talk about it before then, and it's part of who you are.
Well, even when Avery is making reference to it, and he's like, "I'd hate to, always feel like I'm bumming Jesus out."
Right.
Like, it's always a joke, and I don't necessarily. If you're really gonna use that, I don't think it should be that much of a joke.
Right. If it was part of who she is and who she is as a character, she would be bringing it up to him, not in a way of, oh, I feel guilty because we just did this. She would have told him about
Right.
that part of herself before, and he wouldn't make jokes like that, you know?
It would have been more intense.
It would be taken more seriously,
For sure.
where it was something that they worked through, or she at least should have a friend that she's confiding in and talking to about this,
Right.
or going to church and talking to something other than only whining after they just had sex.
Yeah.
That's what
if
I don't.
they're going to
that's the
make this
thing I
a
don't like
plot,
about it.
they should make it a plot on other levels than just in those moments.
Because if you're thinking about them as two people, aside from just, something to fill time for the show, that's what's annoying me. Is like, I don't feel like it's that realistic unless she's really just trying to manipulate him to get the answer that she finally got. But her being genuinely feeling bad about it, I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the chief thing. It's just, it's Avery's, the only time Avery has ever had a really good storyline is when people were finding out that he's related to Harper Avery. He didn't want, to be known for his name. That's the only time I ever really cared about that character. I think.
I guess you're right. I haven't thought of him a lot of different times. I'm not
Him
extremely
fighting
attached
with
to him.
Mark and learning the whole plastics thing. I thought that was a good.
But there's
kind of
never ever like next week on Grey's Anatomy, Avery kills somebody.
I know.
It's always like, oh, it's Avery, whatever.
or he's getting abused by his mother.
Yeah,
That's kind of
it's
it.
never like anything intense.
The
Go ahead.
chief thinks that he likes them together now.
Well, I think that kind of turned it for me of him being more of like a little bratty kid. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what he's always been portrayed as, especially when his mother makes appearances on the show. He's always this little bratty kid. I don't want to see my mother. I hate my mother.
Well,
She
his
this, she
first
that.
monologue was, nobody takes me seriously because I'm so beautiful. That I didn't like. It took at least a season and a half for me to even like him after he said that. Do you remember?
Yeah, with Teddy and
My eyes.
But I don't think they're giving him a chance yet. And
Right.
then, you know, with this whole whiny April thing, it's just worse.
Well, I mean, they're running out of seasons. You know, they're running out of shows for Avery to really pull it and get it together. Because I mean, 2 seasons are and you're still not hitting the mark. Come on now. But there was other really cool and really serious topics in this show. One of the things about Grey's that never ceases to amaze me is how they're able to just put all these puzzle pieces together and make it fit. Because it's really hard to stay focused on what's going on because so many different variables and so many different elements of the show are happening at one time. I mean, with Arizona this week, that's a whole other dramatic bomb. You know, that's going her losing a leg,
Right.
Callie.
So they brought back up the plane crash.
Of course.
Which immediately, whenever they brought it back up, and they're like, we're going to need to hear all your feelings and all your pains. Basically rehash everything that we won't let go this season. I screamed at the screen. Oh, really?
They still need to get paid.
Same stuff.
But I do think, though, that as we saw in the previews for upcoming episodes, the plane crash isn't done yet. And I was reading online that that's a big, it's still going to be a big
It's going to go on the whole season, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the best part that we saw from that was what you just said.
Yeah, that there's going to be...
No, about Arizona.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's late. Just kidding. No, that Arizona's finally human again. She's up. She's functioning. She's semi her old self, if I can even say that, because she's definitely not the old person she used to be. But she's walking around. You know, Bailey, smart as can be, who also Chandra Wilson directed this episode. She plays Bailey. It's her 7th time directing an episode for Grace.
Wow.
Really good
Really
stuff.
great.
That's awesome because I thought this was Bailey's best episode this season.
I think so too. I was getting a little annoyed by her I didn't think what they were doing with her made any sense.
Right.
It's the ebb and flow of the show, though. I mean, there's so many seasons that Bailey, there's so many monologues that Bailey has had that she deserved Emmys for because she's always been. But again, now Bailey's not the mama hen anymore. They're all attendings now. There's not really. I mean, she could still be that Bailey sees everything. I'm everywhere, you know.
Right.
But I think she's also moved on from that. She's more tender now. You know, she's divorced, the baby Tucker and whatnot. But she, for some reason, got Arizona up. You know, walking again, trying to get her back functioning. And I was wondering, and they didn't really give you a reason for why she was doing it. She just all of a sudden in the show, she's just doing it.
Well, I think because there was a conversation and there was so much going on, I didn't really catch all of it, but there was a conversation that Callie had with her about, you know, she needs to get up and she needs to practice with her prosthetic and all that. She's not doing it. And then when Bailey, you know, has this idea with this, you know, patient of hers, this 13-year-old little girl, and she calls Arizona, and you see she's watching, you know, she's reading a magazine, watching TV, just laying down.
I'm so busy.
You know, she's not walking around, she's not practicing. And Bailey was very manipulative in a very
This was Bailey at her
way.
best.
Yeah.
Like, she is, more than anyone else on the show, the genius that knows how to make the other characters get where they need to go.
Mm-hmm. And it was great to see that, and it was heartbreaking to see the struggle. But she did it on her own because then she was determined. Arizona was determined. You know, she got out of bed, she put on the prosthetic, she walked to the door, and it wasn't easy. And then she kept doing it, and she's walking around the house, and all of a sudden she's frustrated. She's calling Bailey, "Where is this chart? I can't help you if I don't see it." But she's also thinking about the case. And she's coming up with these, like, she's getting back into her old mindset, and it was such a genius way.
It took her mind off of her off of her tragedy, and then we see her in the hospital.
Yeah,
right.
She made it to the
Huge
hospital.
triumph.
Yes.
What Bailey did is that she reminded Arizona that her brilliance and her skills as a doctor trump the things that she's going through physically and personally.
Question though. Well, so I wonder if she had a standard car or a automatic car because how does she get to the hospital?
Why do we have to go there?
Why do you have to think logically?
Well, I was just feel like how did
No, that's a good point. Which leg is she missing?
I think the left leg.
That's easier to drive then if you only have it right.
Yeah, if she has an automatic. Okay, I was thinking like, how did she get? I don't think. I mean, she's a surgeon. I don't think she rode the bus. She could have took a cab.
Yeah, she could have taken it. She took a cab. Let's just go with that.
She took a cab.
She took a cab. It was a big triumph.
But it was nice. It was nice to see Arizona in the hospital. And then Callie also this episode had a moment with Derrick.
Right. Yeah.
Which was
whenever they started having their plane crash meeting. They're like, we need to hear everything. We need to monetize this and decide how much money we're going to put on each thing. They specifically asked those two.
Yeah. Well, and it was. They had a moment that was like blaming each other for things, and it was very passive aggressive, and then it became aggressive where she felt that she didn't want to do the surgery, but
Well, the lady made her. The lady sat her down. She's like, if you tell us that he can't do it, this will really pay for it.
I have friends that are attorneys, and that's exactly what they do. At the end of the day, you're just a slab of meat that they see dollar signs in. You know, especially with a accident of that magnitude, and there's survivors. You know, it's dollar signs left and right. And so I think, and I feel like Callie, she wanted to take the money for Sophia. I would have took the money.
I would have took the money too.
She wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. No,
Kellie?
And the whole the blame game. I think that at the end of it, after she saw Arizona's success and her progress, her whole mind changed. Everything was different. All of a sudden, she's more confident. She's looking at things in a different way. I think that she was so bitter and upset because she felt like there was too much pressure to fix Derrick's hand. His whole career rested on her doing that. He believed in her when she didn't believe in herself.
She felt the same pressure. She had to make up her mind to cut off her wife's leg, and then she was the one that ruined his career. And I think she saw whenever her wife could revive herself enough to become a surgeon again, there were other options.
Right, Derrick could too.
And I think that I don't think he ever blamed her. And then she tried to blame him too for not taking the money. You came in late with your big old speech. How are we going to go against you? And he's like, and I don't feel that he tried to persuade anybody to do anything. He just said, take a second and think about this. And I still agree with what they did. I know it sucks to rehash the thing over and over and over again, but
it was funny when Christina's like, I don't have any further injuries. Thank you.
No, she's like, my shoulder hurts a little bit. The end. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
But the weirdest thing, which took an interesting twist that I don't like, but still caught me off guard, they've decided not to go after the paraplegic pilot. The charter company apparently doesn't have enough money. They're going to go after the hospital?
And specifically Owen?
Did they say that?
Well, they
said, and the people who put you on the plane.
Right.
Now, I don't understand how that.
They can't. Well, how
can they justify that?
Well, what they'll do is they'll try to corroborate or put together that the hospital knew the plane wasn't was in tip-top shape. They'll try to find some way to tie the hospital.
Do you think they'll maybe do it like a weight thing, that there was maybe too many people or too much equipment and that resulted in
possibly
or something like that? Because how could it possibly be the hospital's fault?
I don't think it is. I think it's exactly what Jason was saying before. The lawyers look at all the different ways that they can make money, and they just think the hospital and the hospital's insurance behind it. That's where the most money is from.
The angles,
it just
for
doesn't.
sure.
But I mean, that's absolutely going to take a turn, for the worst, because all of them kind of against him in a not so.
And that's also going to put backlash onto Crowan again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am over Crowan, over the plane crash, and I think what we saw tonight, definitely not done with this storyline.
Well, I want to see Derrick back in surgery because I do not hate him as much as you guys do.
I don't hate him. He hates him the most.
I don't hate him. I honestly, listeners and ladies, I just feel that he just doesn't give me any more. There's no depth to Derrick anymore. I feel like his character gives you two characters. He's either really happy, and then in 2.2 seconds, he's very, Meredith, how could you do that? Like, it's just very.
He's a guy.
But I'm not like that. It's just I think, like I said,
a special person, Jason.
I think that the ladies of Grey's make the show. The females, because it's written from a female point of view, I think the ladies make the show, and they have the best storylines.
But it's kind of the same as Owen. He's always just kind of one way. Karev is one way. That's kind of the uniformity with the guys. I mean, you can always count on Karev to be this way. Owen's kind of always like, rah, 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 this is my thing. And, Derrick's kind of the same way.
I was surprised out of the interns they brought in 4 girls, 1 guy.
Yeah.
We're not getting more guys, Mm-hmm. And the one we did get, Dr. Jeff Russell, not even important to Jason.
Well, maybe. I mean, he might play a bigger role than we think.
He just wasn't. He wasn't a Teddy. He wasn't a Burke. He wasn't.
But that's what makes it better.
I think that us and from the caller Danielle that we heard in, we're all sort of over her learning from her teachers, and there's not going to be a better one than Feeney.
No, I think it's time. Let's see if she can hack it on her own. Let's see what she does with this.
And I wonder, did he have a stroke?
Oh yeah, they didn't.
Did he have a stroke? Let's just say he had a stroke. Moment of silence for Feeney. Okay.
The only mention of it was whenever Meredith said she's lost someone. She's sad.
Yeah.
So they didn't say. I really would like to know, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we would really appreciate it if you guys find us on iTunes, give us 5 stars. It makes us feel great about ourselves. And we always love your comments on YouTube, on iTunes. We discuss your comments. We feel like you gave us great feedback this week. And let's move on to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, we saw in the previews for next week that Cristina and Owen fighting more again. Anyone surprised?
No.
No.
Well, here's the thing about the predictions or the previews for the next episode. They make it seem like in the 5 minutes will change your life.
I know.
The last 5 minutes.
And a bomb will drop. And we're all looking at each other like, it better not be a bomb. That has been done too many
You're
times
like,
in this hospital.
The beginning credits will change your life on Grace.
But we did see that April is late.
Ooh.
Which, again-
I would love it if she was pregnant.
With twins.
I would love it.
I might too.
I would
that
love
might
it.
be a
That'd be
fun
great.
one to
That
watch.
would force that whining to stop.
Jesus is really mad at you now, April. You got a double whammy.
Yeah, let's see how they go through that one. And then, they are discussing doing Derrick's surgery again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really want to see. I want to see Callie fix it. I want her to be as, excuse my language, badass as she is building up to be. Like,
Callie is great this season.
she is just, she's been through so much, like this, since she's been on the show. She's doing great. I want to see her fix that and have that confidence back in herself when she used to walk around and rock it, breaking bones.
Dance whenever she was living homeless. Do you guys remember that when she was
Yeah.
living in the bottom floor?
I know.
walking up?
I think one of the prerequisites for being one of the female characters on Grey's is when your boyfriend has to die. Like George died, Henry died.
True. Well,
No more boyfriends better die. I'm kind of over that too.
nothing. No more bombs.
No one getting
start
shot.
Taking,
No.
Just start taking notes. And then how about for predictions?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
You know what?
predictions.
I don't honestly, guys. I don't have any predictions. I think I don't know. I don't want to predict because I want to see. I don't know what's going to happen. That's why the show is so good because you never know what's going to turn up next. And it's not in a jaw dropping kind of way. It's just like in a whoa.
Well, here's something you have to predict. You have no choice.
Okay.
Do you think they will go after the hospital or not?
Oh, they're going to go after the hospital.
You think that's the bomb that will change your life?
Yes.
That's the arc.
Do you think they're going to go after the hospital?
I do. And I think that they're going to, single out Owen. It's going to be the hospital and Owen separately because they're going to try to, get that whole thing. And I think that's going to be a divide between the doctors and him.
I think Addison's coming back.
What?
Left field.
Oh, I would love it.
She's going to walk in with that red hair and black fur and be like, "You're sleeping with my husband yet again."
All over
Yet
again. I predict that whether April is pregnant or not, that will be the make or break point for them.
She has to be pregnant.
It's either going to elevate them to the next level or end it once and for all.
I want her pregnant.
But wait, okay. But again, will she have an abortion? I mean,
No.
No.
So she's gonna
See, that's
keep
the thing. No. That's why I we get.
Avery be a baby daddy. Well, I mean, they're surgeons. They got coins. They got money.
And I also, I don't predict as much as hope that Cristina and Owen end for good soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you guys? Let us know your predictions. Do you think they'll be going after the hospital? You have 2 weeks to think of it because we don't have a new episode next week.
No. So enjoy.
But everybody, yes, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
And can't wait to see you guys back here again. Can you play the Grey's Anatomy theme song one more time as we go out?
It makes Jason happy. We are all getting ready to head to the Twilight midnight premiere. So the excitement's high. I'm Julie Partin. Please find me on Twitter at JuliePartin.
Hey guys, I'm Jason J. Carter. You can find me on Twitter at JJCForever and also on Facebook at the Jason J. Carter fan page.
And you can find me at Kellie with an IE079. And obviously follow AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV.
Definitely. Have a great evening.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Enjoy
guys. Bye.
Breaking Dawn.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.